Hello, dear ANA community. What is the Apana Vata? What is its normal functions? What will be the impact of Apana Vata on different types of the Vata and other dosha, that is Pitta and Kapha? In terms of the physiology, in terms of the pathophysiology, in terms of the physics, chemistry, and biology, we are going to discuss in this particular video. Dear ANA community, put a thumbs up and spread this particular video to maximum number of true Nidana learners so that we can make a huge movement out of this particular small message. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that the YouTube algorithms will be fetching you the right video for the right time, for the right purpose. When you think about the Apana Vata, it is considered to be one of the main types of the Vata dosha. It is being mentioned Prana, Udana, Samana, Vyana, and Apana. Among these, Apana Vata is considered to be very, very important. It's a description mentioned in the Brihatrayi, that is Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, and the Ashtanga Hridaya. It will be going like this. Most popularly described shloka that is mentioned in Ashtanga, as said, that is by the Vagpata. That is being mentioned Apanopanagaha Shroni Basti Medhorugocharaha Shukrartapa Shakranmutra Garbhanishkramana Kriyaha. So Apana Vata is situated in Apanagaha, that is Pakwashaya, or what we can say the large intestine. Shroni Basti Medhorugocharaha. It will be moving in the Shroni, pelvis, Basti, urinary bladder, Medra, the male genitals as such, Uru, in the sense that is the thighs. So that will be moving in these areas, and its main function is Shukrartava Shakranmutra Garbha Nishkramana Kriyaha, that is eliminating the Shukra, that is semen, Artava, that is the menstrual blood or ovum, Shakrit, that is fecal matter, Mutra, urine, Garbha, that is the fetus. They are going to get eliminated from the body to the exterior. That is the main function of Apana Vata. Ashtanga Sangraha says Apanastu Apanasthito Basti Shroni Medra Vrishana Vangshanurucharo Vinmutra Shukrartava Garbha Nishkramana Adikriya iti. So Apanastu Apanasthito, that is situated in the large intestine or Apanagaha. Basti Shroni Medra Vrishana Vangshanurucharo. Basti, Shroni, Medra, that is already being mentioned. Vrishana refers to the testicles, and Vankshana, that is referring to the inguinal region. The Apana Vata is located in those areas, and that will be responsible for the movement of the Vit, Mutra, Shukra, Artava, and Garbha to the exterior at appropriate time as such. Sushruta says, in case of the Telhana commentary, Shukra Mutra Dina Vegakale Karshanam Avekakale Dharanam Apanasya. Its main function is the dharana, that is when the person is not having the urge, holding that Shukra, etc. And if the person is having the proper Vega, that's elimination of Shukra, Mutra, etc., that is considered to be the main function of Apana Vata. It is being mentioned in another context as such, Dharanam Sharira Yantrasya. So, the Dharana, that is holding the whole human body as such, because the large intestine is having the function of the absorption of the most of the water and electrolytes. Electrolytes include sodium and potassium also, which are very, very essential in the functioning of either skeletal muscular activity, smooth muscular activity, cardiac muscular activity, and nerve impulses. Hence, Dharanam Sharira Yantrasya, almost all the activities which are related to the muscle and nerve, so that will be functioned by these electrolytes. Hence why the Dharanam Sharira Yantrasya, as the electrolytes are getting absorbed from the From the Apana, what we can see, the large intestine, Apana Vata is having the function of maintaining the human body also. Charaka says, Vrishano basti medram cha nabhyuru angshano gudam apana sthana mantrastha shukramutra shakranti cha srijatyartha bagarbhau cha yuktaha sthana sthitashthe. When the Apana Vata is functioning in their normalcy, so that will be responsible for the expulsion of Shukra, Mutra, Shakrit, Artava, etc. and Garbha to the exterior. Now, its application aspect. When you think about the human body, this is considered to be the normal location of Apana Vata. So when there is the Apana Vata dysfunction, there may be a possibility of the excessive movement in the downward direction, or there may be a possibility of the movement of this Apana Vata in the upward direction. Downward direction as such, that may be responsible for the what you say, that the diarrhea, etc. Whereas in case of the constipation, what actually happens is there may be a possibility of the upward movement, which in turn leads to the Samana Vata dysfunction. So when the person is having the Apana Vata dysfunction, so that will be responsible for the movement of these Vata in the different direction. But as it is moving in the upward direction, so that will be responsible for the dysfunction of Samana Vata starts to occur. And it is being mentioned that the Samana Vata is having the component of Ahara Parinamakara Bhava. In that particular sense, whenever the person is having Samana Vata dysfunction, there may be a possibility of Ushma, Vayu, Kleda, Sneha, Kala and Samayoga. So, Vayu as such, there is nothing but the Samana Vata itself. There may be the possibility of dysfunction of the 5 other elements of Ahara Parinamakara Bhava, that is Ushma, Kleda, Sneha, Kala and Samayoga, which in turn may lead to the dysfunction of Pranavata. Dysfunction of Pranavata that may happen, which is resulting in the reverse movement of this the Samana Vata, which is resulting in the Pranavata, the dysfunction. There may be a possibility of the person may have the excessive belching, etc., that may be getting manifested. Further, which is resulting in the Vyana Vata dysfunction, wherein there may be a possibility of the sideward movement of this particular Vata may happen. Thereby, the person may have the Vyana Vata dysfunction starts to occur. Now, the textual description in the Western physiology regarding the flatus, that is we are going to look into the fate of that particular flatus as such. In the present day, the passing the flatus is considered to be one of the stigma, what we can say. So most of the what do you say, that the society that is not considering as the good practice whenever if a person is living in the society as such. That is the reason. So this is considered to be one of the very what do you say, that the neglected area as far as the clinical practice is concerned. Still, it is being mentioned in the guidance physiology regarding the what will be the mechanism of flatus acid, that is being mentioned there. And now regarding the flatus formation, in the sense there is nothing but the gas formation. So that means if the person is passing excess amount of the flatus as such, so that refers to the excess gas formation in the large intestine. When you think about the gas formation, so that particular gases are formed in the large intestine because of the 3 different sources. One, that is because of the swallowing of the air. Second one, because of the bacterial action on the contents of the large intestine, which will be responsible for the gas formation in the large intestine. Third one, the gas which is entering from the capillaries of the gastrointestinal tract into the gastrointestinal lumen. So these are the three sources of gases which are entering into the large intestine. So if there is more amount of the gases are being entering in the large intestine, that refers to either there may be a possibility of increased swallowing of the air, or there may be a possibility of the increased bacterial action, or there may be a possibility of increased entry of the gas from the capillaries of the GIT into the lumen of the gastrointestinal tract, which in turn results in the belching, or there may be a possibility of passage of a flatus that may happen, that is in the upward direction belching, passing the gases through the lower side alimentary canal, that is considered to be the flatus as such. Then third one, that is the entry of this the what do you say, that the reverse entry. So that is from the small intestine there may be a possibility of reverse movement of this particular gases as such, or otherwise that may be entering via bloodstream into the blood as such, resulting in a condition called hyperammonia. Whenever if you think about the flatus gases, that will be considering that will be having the different gases, that is carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrogen. It is being mentioned regarding the food substances which are responsible for the increased gas formation as per the guidance physiology: beans, cabbage, cauliflower, onion, corn, and vinegar. Certain unabsorbable carbohydrates are also responsible for the increased bacterial action. So thereby there may be the formation of increased gases in the large intestine. Regarding the amount of the gases formed in the large intestine, it varies something around from 7 to 10 liters of the air. But when you think about the expulsion of the gases from the large intestine to the exterior, it is only up to 600 ml. That means more than 98% of the gases will be getting absorbed from the large intestine into the bloodstream through intestinal mucosa. Thereby, that is going to get eliminated via lungs as such. That's why the persons who are having the habit of constipation, they are going to have the feculent odor through their breath as such. Now, coming to the principles of physics and chemistry. So it is being mentioned that the kinetic theory of the gases can be applied here. It says the molecules of a gas in a continuous random motion and are deflected from their course only by collision with other molecules or with the walls of the container. When they strike the walls and rebound, the resultant bombardment results in pressure. So that means, so here there are several molecules are there which are moving in a different direction. Either they may collide with each other, or that may collide with the walls as such. So that will be responsible for the even the presence of a pressure in the large intestine, or presence of the pressure in this particular container. The same thing can be applied in the large intestine. For example, the gas is formed in the large intestine, so which will be moving in the different direction as such. As the gases are associated with increased heat production, the amount of the pressure generated via the movement as well as the gas, that is going to get even increased as such. Hence, the person will be passing the what do you say, that warm flatus as such some of the occasion, or the person may have the pain abdomen, that is going to get happen here. Regarding the different examples here, when you think about the ruksha ahara and its impact on the body as such, the person is having already the Apana Vata dysfunction. So that means there may be a possibility of the reverse movement that is going to get happen because of the Apana Vata, the restricted movement. And if the person is doing the ruksha ahara as such, so what will happen? So that will be responsible for the influx of the fluid from the intravascular compartment of the stomach into the stomach. Suppose if the person is drinking the water, that is another source of the, what do you say, that the entry of the water into the stomach as such, which in turn results in the shrinkage of the intravascular compartment. If the person is taking this more amount of this particular ruksha ahara, that's what we can say the poha as such. So that means the person will be having the more amount of the entry of the water from the intravascular compartment into the stomach region. This will be resulting in the shoshana karma of the intravascular compartment. So that means there will be shrinkage of intravascular compartment that can happen. So this also decides at what time the person is going to consume the poha. Is it at the beginning, or is it in the middle, or is it at the end? As such, if the person is going to consume poha, that is going to decide the impact of this particular ruksha ahara on the body as such. Because the person is having already the Apana Vata dysfunction, which is in turn responsible for the Samana Vata dysfunction, which is in turn due to the Ruksha Ahara, etc., the Ushma, Kleda, Sneha, Kala, etc., that will not be functioning at their optimum level. Thereby, the person may have the impact of digestive dysfunction. So, depending upon the proportion of the poha as such, the person will be having the increase of the, what do you say, that the different dosha that may take place here. As you think about it, ruksha, that will be responsible for the increase of the vata dosha in the body, vidahi and ushna and snigdha. So that may be responsible for the increase of the snigdha guna in the alimentary canal, and snigdha guna that may also be responsible for the increase of the kapha dosha in the body. But when you think about the dysfunctioning of the apana vata, so this again is responsible for the somewhat tightness of the upper abdomen that is going to take place, which is resulting in the poor digestive the function of the body as such. When you think about the other example, that is the vidahi ahara and the person who is having the apanavata dysfunction. Suppose if the person is going to consume 50% of gobi Manchurian and 20% of the ice cream, 20% of the noodles, and 10% of the water as such. Now, this may be responsible for the increase of the different qualities in the alimentary canal. The apanavata dysfunction resulting in the samanavata dysfunction, which is resulting in, because of the consumption of these many substances, there may be a possibility of ushna and tikshna guna in some part, and shita and snigdha guna in some other part of the alimentary canal. That's how. So that will be responsible for the overall impact of a digestive dysfunction as such. Of course, if the person is going to consume the ice cream first, then we may suspect to be increased shita guna and snigdha guna that may take place, which again is responsible for the agnimandya first. Or if the person is going to consume gobi Manchurian first, probably there may be a possibility of increased ushna and tikshna guna. Thereby there may be a possibility of agni vruddhi may be there. In that way, so as the persons are going to consume all these at a particular time, there may be a possibility of the dysfunction of either vata, pitta and kapha at a particular time period. Thereby the person is having the dysfunction related to apana vata also. It is adding the impact so that the person may have the totally disturbed gastrointestinal physiology. Regarding the third aspect, If the person is consuming more amount of the dahi, for example 50%, which is added with sugar, almost 15% associated elaichi, etc., there may be a possibility of the increase of snigdhata, shetata and madhurata in the alimentary canal. Of course, this will be if the person is suffering from the Apana Vata dysfunction, this will be responsible for the Samana Vata dysfunction. Thereby, there may be a possibility of the Ushna Guna Kshaya in the alimentary canal, as Ushna Guna that is required for the Ahara Parinamakara Bhava to function properly, as the person is going to consume dahi, etc. So that may lead to Shita Guna increase, and added with Madhura Rasa, that is again adding the Kapha dosha increase in the alimentary canal. Thereby, the person may have the total digestive impairment in the alimentary canal. Now, do you mean to say the identification of this Apana Vata and its function is very simple? No, it is a big no. Because the uniqueness of each and every individual, if you say the group of the individuals to stand, you see the varied presentations of simple standing itself, so they may have their own way of standing as such. Hence, the diagnosis of the disease is actually individualistic. So that means that will be what is it, custom specific, other words. So depending upon the nature of uh, the type of the ahara sevana, depending upon the nature of the lifestyle, how the person is actually behaving at the particular time period during the food consumption, etc., that is going to decide the functioning of the doshas in the body. To sum up as such, whenever the person is having the Apana Vata dysfunction, there may be a possibility of Samana Vata dysfunction, there may be a possibility of the Prana Vata dysfunction. Apana Vata dysfunction, which will be associated with the heaviness of the lower abdomen, or the person may be having the constipation, or the person is having the excessive passage of the flatus as such, or the person may be having the passing the very hard fecal matter as such, which in turn results in the reverse movement of the Apana Vata. Thereby, that may lead to the Samana Vata dysfunction, wherein the person may have the loss of appetite, etc., or the person may have the fullness of the upper abdomen, etc., that is going to take place, which in turn leads to the Prana Vata dysfunction, wherein the person may have the excessive belching, or otherwise the person may have the feculent odor in the belching as such, or the person may have feculent odor in the breathing as such. In that way, that is going to happen, which in turn results in the Vyana Vata dysfunction. Vyana Vata dysfunction in the sense, whatever the gases they are going to get absorbed from the large intestine, that will be entering into intravascular compartment. From there, it will be entering into the heart. From there, it will be eliminated via breath as such. In this way, so the Vyana Vata dysfunction may we can able to analyze. So whenever all these are happening, so that may lead to the altered ahara parinamakara bhava because of their unique life diet style. Some persons may take only madhura rasa ahara, some other persons take madhura or amla rasa ahara, some other persons take madhura amla or lavana rasa yukta ahara, some persons will take katu amla and lavana rasa yukta ahara. All they are the unique type of the diet they are going to indulge, or they regarding their unique lifestyle itself, such as the food consumption and sleeping, food consumption and running, food consumption and walking, food consumption and reading, food consumption and watching the movie, food consumption along with watching the movie, etc. They are the unique lifestyles that may be observed whenever if you're thinking about the overall functioning of this. Hence, patient-centric approach should be adopted whenever if you are making the clinical diagnosis as such. So, Apana Vata dysfunction is considered to be one of the very important the dysfunction which may happen because of the either the less intake of the water or either the suppression of the nature's call of defecation, etc. that may be there, or either the person may be suffering from the constipation, etc. Dear NA community, that's all for today. What are the major key takeaways from today's discussion? Mention in the comment box below. And what is the one video that you'd like to hear in the coming days in this particular channel? Mention in the comment box below. And spread this particular video to maximum number of true Nidana learners so that we can make a huge movement out of this particular small message. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that the YouTube algorithms will be fetching you the right information at the right time for the right purpose. That's all for today. Something more in the next video. Thank you.